And we begin tonight with breaking news on the presidential primary election in Massachusetts. Good evening, I'm Shannon Heggie.
And I'm Mike Montecalvo. The results are starting to come in for the 14 states who voted this Super Tuesday. And just breaking in Massachusetts, the Associated Press calling Joe Biden the winner in the Bay State. Politics editor Ted Nesi saying it's an astounding result. We'll hear from Ted in just a few minutes. Right behind Biden is Bernie Sanders, followed by Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren.
In fourth place in the Bay State, Michael Bloomberg, followed by Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar, who both stepped out of the race, rounding out the top six. On the Republican side, Donald Trump won in a landslide over Bill Weld. Now, ballots are still being counted, but it's safe to call President Trump as the clear winner on the Republican side.
Eyewitness News has team coverage for you tonight. Politics editor Ted Nesi is standing by with analysis, and Steph Machado has more on the results in Massachusetts.
But first, Caroline Goggin is live in our breaking news center with the latest on how the races are playing out in other states. Caroline?
Well, Shannon and Mike, the race in Texas is still undetermined at this point. It will be one of the biggest prizes of the night. Behind California, there are 228 delegates at stake in Texas. And as you can see right now, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are neck and neck in Texas right now. This is really how much of Super Tuesday has played out so far. Now let's take you to Tennessee, where Joe Biden has been declared the winner. Super Tuesday voting was held there after the Nashville area was hit by deadly tornadoes overnight. At this point, the death toll there has risen to 24. And because of the natural disaster, a judge allowed all Nashville polling sites to stay open for an additional hour tonight. Now let's take you to Colorado, where Bernie Sanders won tonight, with Mike Bloomberg, as you can see, actually coming in second there. Now, so far, Sanders has won in his home state of Vermont, Colorado, and in Utah. And in Vermont at his campaign headquarters, he spoke just after 10 o'clock tonight, and he spent part of his speech actually calling out former Vice President Joe Biden.
One of us in this race led the opposition to the war in Iraq. You're looking at him. Another candidate voted for the war in Iraq. But tonight, I tell you with absolute confidence, we are going to win the Democratic nomination. And we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country.
All right, let's get you up to speed on where exactly things stand right now. Joe Biden has won 8 states tonight on this Super Tuesday: Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Arkansas, Minnesota, and Massachusetts. Sanders again winning Vermont, Colorado, and Utah. In Maine, things are still too close to call. As I said, in Texas, things are still undetermined, and polls just closed in the state of California. In all, 1,300 delegates are up for grabs on this Super Tuesday. I'm Caroline Goggin, Eyewitness News.
Caroline, thank you. Some of the results that we're seeing so far tonight are really unexpected.
And a perfect example of that in Massachusetts. Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado joins us now from New Bedford with more. Steph?
This is really a remarkable story here in Massachusetts, with Joe Biden, as you say, projected to win the state over Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. You know, in the week leading up to Super Tuesday, all of the polling was showing Bernie and Warren neck and neck for first place in Massachusetts. But of course, a lot changed in the last couple of days. Pete Buttigieg dropped out, Amy Klobuchar dropped out, and they both endorsed Biden last night, apparently helping propel him to this what appears to be a pretty big comeback tonight on Super Tuesday. Biden just addressed his supporters in L.A. This was a few minutes before the race was called for him here in Massachusetts. He was celebrating all the states he's won so far tonight.
And maybe even Massachusetts. It's too close to call. We're still waiting for Texas and California, a few other small states to come in. But it's looking good. So I'm here to report we are very much alive. And make no mistake about it, this campaign will send Donald Trump packing.
Elizabeth Warren, in the meantime, looks to be not only losing her home state, but she could potentially come in third place as the votes are still being counted here tonight. That perhaps explains why she chose not to stay in Massachusetts for the night after coming to vote in her hometown of Cambridge this morning. She instead took off for Detroit, Michigan, not a Super Tuesday state, hoping to up her momentum for next week's primary contests.
And I will work every single day to make sure that this country is living its values. I will do my best as president to make you proud of the United States of America in all of our dealings.
And you know, there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of days about early voting here in Massachusetts potentially having an effect on the race, with the early voting period ending on Friday and 3 candidates dropping out before Super Tuesday. But it doesn't appear to have had a major dent in the results. Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg so far only earning a small fraction of the vote in Massachusetts tonight, and likely not enough to earn any delegates. Live in New Bedford, I'm Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
All right, Steph, thank you. We are joined by Eyewitness News politics editor Ted Nesi, and we have some breaking news. We're talking about a big night for Joe Biden, Ted, but breaking news here is Bernie Sanders has been declared the winner in California. Huge.
That is big and very welcome news for the Bernie Sanders campaign tonight. We were talking as we got that call while we were listening to Steph. There are so many delegates available in California that theoretically, if the win was big enough, and it must have been because the AP felt they were able to call it right off the top of the polls closing off the exit poll, there's so many delegates, Bernie Sanders could make up a lot of the ground he's lost in other states where Joe Biden has been. So, you know, we have seen Joe Biden have a pretty remarkable comeback tonight, as we just heard Steph talking about. He was nowhere to be found in the polling in Massachusetts, and now he has won the state, beaten Elizabeth Warren. But that California result could change the narrative as we get later into the night this Super Tuesday.
Is there any chance that California vote could be indicative of what happens in Texas, too?
Absolutely. There's a large Latino population in California and in Texas. And as we've seen, Shannon, we saw in Nevada that Bernie Sanders did a great job organizing the Latino population. His campaign's put a lot of effort into that. So I think we're going to really need to see. The other problem is California always takes forever to count their votes. So we might be waiting a while to really know what happened there.
But if you're looking at all of this, Ted, he's not getting the support he got 4 years ago. Even though he won California, he won 3 other states. Why?
I think one thing is I think a lot of Bernie Sanders' vote last time was an anti-Hillary vote more than a pro-Bernie Sanders vote. Even in Massachusetts, you see, I think he got almost 50% of the vote, nearly beat Hillary Clinton there. He's well down from there tonight. So I think what you're seeing with Bernie Sanders is he couldn't count on everyone he had last time just coming back to him here. Even in Vermont, he's down. But on the other hand, he has a stronger campaign infrastructure. He's been taken more seriously, and I think that's why we're seeing California is a big, expensive state, not easy to win, and he's clearly won it by a good margin.
And quick, your thoughts, Ted, on Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren losing in Massachusetts.
First word I think of is embarrassing. You know, previous Massachusetts Democrats who ran for president have always won Massachusetts. She is coming in third, as I said, to a candidate who wasn't even on the map as someone who might win there. So we have to see going forward if she thinks there's still a reason for her to stay in this race or if her campaign reassesses. But she has given no indication she's giving up.
There's always surprises in politics.
That's why I love it.
That's all right. Thank you.